Hey, everybody. Welcome to Unbridled Emotions. Thanks for tuning in for our Q&A for today. Uh, Last one we did was actually January 22nd, so it's been a couple months. Um, we're already in season 3, or we're actually starting season 3, and it's been an interesting experience for me. I have so enjoyed writing and putting it out there. With the YouTube channel and all the podcast stuff, and I've got a lot of feedback from family and friends, mostly people that know me across the spectrum, all different places I've worked and what have you. Everybody's tuning in, so getting some good feedback. So thank you for all of that. Thank you for all being here today. I totally appreciate it. If anyone's listening out there, could you let me know how the audio is if you're having a hard time hearing me, so that we can adjust accordingly. Um, Other than that, I think that's pretty much. Here I am waiting for some comments. But what I did today for Unbridled Emotions was Tony, my producer and my buddy that has been putting all this together, we and I were talking about, and I wrote a piece just for today. I figured to give you a little jumping off point. People could go ahead and listen, and then maybe comment or make some, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and read a piece for you, and I'll just kind of wait for the feedback from there. I'm calling it Surrender. And let me go ahead and read. An ever existent question. How do I learn to give up who I am? Surrender myself, if you will, so that I can become who I'm meant to be. How do I surrender myself to the higher power and still be the person that I was created to be? Has this creation just been a fallacy of my mind, or an alternate reality of which I've placed myself so that I can hide from ever attempting what I wasn't sure if I could achieve? And so I resist it by pushing away what I found perplexing and difficult, without fully putting all of my misunderstandings under a proverbial microscope. Was it the reasons that were guiding me that I could not at the time comprehend? And so I just lived to survive. But in doing so, I actually stopped living. To see that fine line that's paper thin and seemingly easy to break through, and yet continually be held by that very wall that suspended me between two realms. The realm of just getting by without purpose, by making my purpose just getting by. Can someone actually be so scared of failure that they could take on the alternative way and walk amongst the world frozen in those fears and never truly want to be awakened and face the monsters inside? My answer is simply yes. One can bind themselves up so tightly, not believe that they're worthy, and be ultimately willing to vanish and never be seen or heard from again. For me, it was like the most elaborate witness protection plan that had ever been written. And I was the main character. Then years of repetitive words from a never ending play that has played to a packed house for my lifetime. Then, just like that, the show, my life up until that very moment, shuts down. And I'm awakened into a reality of exactly what my life has been up until this point. I realize where I've been stuck for centuries. I take a deep breath for the first time. And as the air fills my lungs and the dust settles, all is clear. And I have a fresh perspective for the first time ever. The curtain raises, and my life is there on stage for all to see. I'll embrace it. I will let go of everything in the past. I will hitch my horses to the wagon. Really fulfill my life and take the ride for all she's worth. I call that surrender. If you've been listening to or watching in the YouTube channel, youtube.com/unbridled emotions is what the channel is. It's kind of been a thread of a lot of the things I've written through these past. Well, we did 12 episodes per season, and like I said, we finished the 2 seasons at 24 episodes, and we're starting up on May 5th the 3rd season. That'll be podcast available and also YouTube. And I don't know. I guess more than anything, and I've put this out on Facebook and YouTube a number of times. The people listening, people I know, family, friends, people I've come in contact with. I made a comment on Facebook that said I had 854 friends or something to that effect. And I put it out there and asked for people who had not already subscribed to the channel to please do so. I think for me, in putting this together and putting myself out there and sharing my writings, my emotions, my life, if you will, I think that my purpose was to get the message out to a lot of people so that others, because I know that that I'm dealing with this, and I know a lot of people have to be dealing with the same kinds of things in their life. So please subscribe. Again, youtube.com/unbridled emotions or the podcast. Tony says we have a message.
Say hello to Adriana.
Hey, Adriana, how are you? I'm so glad you were able to tune in. I wasn't sure what your work schedule was going to be. Regards to Robert, I hope you guys are doing well. You're in my prayers every night. I hope you know that.
We have 4 people in the chat, 1 like. Guys, if you're listening, say hello and do us a favor, support the channel by hitting that like button. It lets YouTube know you like what we're doing here at the channel.
Well, I hope everybody's heard that from Tony. I get a lot of likes, by the way, and it's funny because most people know me. Adriana, you're listening to this. A lot of times I don't just add a like to a comment. I have a tendency, obviously, as a writer here, to go ahead and add my comments. I really read into someone's postings and try and give my advice or try and give my experience, hoping that will help someone as they go ahead and read or listen to what I've written. And that has worked pretty well. I've gotten a lot of feedback from people I don't know in doing just that. I follow a lot of different sites, and in doing so, I read everybody's comments fully and try to get a full understanding of the picture of the person. And then I comment with some real serious thought. And I've gotten a lot of people following me now based on that. So I guess the message that I'm trying to get out, that we're all connected, we're all one, has actually worked for me in making those comments, because a lot of people are now following and commenting back. So thank you for that, everyone. I truly appreciate it. Tony, what's happening over there? We have a lot of likes, but not too many comments.
We got another like. Thank you, guys. We have 5 people out there. I think they're all shy, though, James. They don't want to say hello. Only Adriana actually said hi.
Adriana, it's so much appreciated. Thank you. It's my one. And I think, I don't know if anybody from the last time, except for Adriana, had heard me say that, but Adriana was a big part of me actually doing this. And I've been writing, again, for since I was a little kid. But I had the opportunity to work with Virginia Tech and Adriana in the swimmers and divers for the team for 7 seasons. And in doing so, she and I became very close. Robert, her husband, who was also a swimmer, we became really good friends. Actually got to go to their wedding with my wife 2 years ago. It is 2 years ago, right, Adriana? Almost 2 years ago. And Adriana was always saying, and sometimes I would write inspirational pieces for the girls and the guys before swim meets, or just have conversations with them. And she always pushed me. She said, "You need to put this stuff out so people can hear it and get the message and read it and see it." And so COVID shut me down last year. I'm a massage therapist by trade, and it shut me down with everything else. Colleges closed, and pro, semi-pro, what have you, all closed down. And so, mother of invention, COVID was my mother of invention, I guess. And I always wanted to share and publish And like I said, with support from people like Adriana, from my wife Dorothy, from Tony, and just friends. My buddy Michael wrote our music that we've been using for the past couple of seasons. Michael, if you're out there and you hear me, we need some more music, buddy. As I put him on camera. I mean, it just really put that message out there. Tony says we got another Facebook comment. So thank you.
Say hello to Jackie Farrison.
Hey,
James, watching your podcast. Great video.
Oh, Jackie, thank you so much. How have you and Kurt are doing well, and the family? Jackie and I become friends since we moved to North Carolina. Lives in the same development we are in, and has been so supportive. So, Jackie, thank you. I really appreciate that. That's so great. Tony says we got another Facebook message.
Yep. Say hello to Sonia Leibowitz. Great to see you.
Sonia. Sonia was my commander for Combat Vets and Motorcycle Association when we first started the chapter back, well, at least when I got involved back in 2015. I hope you're doing well up in Washington. I know you're living up in that area. I hope things are going good for you. It's been a while. I definitely miss seeing you and having our conversations. So God bless. Thank you for checking in, Sonia. Appreciate it. I have another comment, Tony says on Facebook.
Say hello to Dorothy Jenkins Cole from her car.
So my wife is out doing some shopping today and running some errands. And she said, I'm going to leave you alone and go ahead and let you guys do what you're doing up there. And so from her car, I hope she's not driving, but from her car, she sent me a message and she said she's listening. So thank you, Dorothy. I appreciate it. Love you, honey. I appreciate that.
All right, we have another message, but before I post it, I just want to say we're up to 8 viewers. That's awesome. And we have 2 likes and a heart. So guys, hit that like button, hit those hearts, and let us know if you're here. Say hello. Don't be afraid. And this is a live Q&A. So if you have any questions on today's reading or any of the readings that James has done in the first 2 seasons, that's why he's here. Take advantage of it. And we're going to now say hello to Linda Jankowitz Sherry. She says, hello, James, from Marana, Arizona.
Yeah, Linda. Linda is Dorothy's sister, my sister-in-law, and she and Bob, Dorothy and I were just out in Arizona recently and got a chance to spend some time, stayed at Linda and Bob's for a few days and got to travel around Arizona and visit the family and do a bunch of really cool stuff. So Linda, thank you for checking in and listening and making your comments, and please give regards to Bob and everybody else out there. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate your hospitality while we're out there too. Thank you. Real quick, I have to say, someone who was with us during our last Q&A back in January, my friend Tracy, lost her mom the other night, and it was sudden. And so my heart goes out to her. I know she would be here with us, but she's definitely in my heart, and we love you guys. And I'm so sorry for the loss. I don't really have words, and we love you guys, and we're here if you need us.
Mary Ellen Walsh says, hello, James and Tony.
Hey, Mary Ellen. Mary Ellen's another person that lives in our development that we've become really good friends with in the past 7 or 8 years. We've been down here in North Carolina, who's currently traveling, I think, Mary Ellen. So thank you for reaching out and checking in. That's so cool. Give Ed regards. Miss you guys, and hope things are going well down there. I'm sure you have some better weather, although it's getting warmer here. So enjoy yourself. Thank you, Mary Ellen. I appreciate you reaching out. And it's like the crickets. It's quiet. Tony said this may be a short Q&A session. I did a reading, and I guess a few people may have seen that or heard that when they first tuned in. It was something I wrote. Tony and I were talking about maybe reading a piece that I had done previously, and I said, no, I want to write something different. So the other night I sat down and just poured out my soul into my notepad here, and then wrote something. So I just really have to keep reemphasizing my importance in me putting this out is that I get people to subscribe so that I can share the message. You go to youtube.com/unbridled emotions and click on subscribe. I mean, Tony, it's not like Tony and I watch it, but we have 134 subscribers. And like I said before, Facebook says I have 800 friends. Well, everybody who hasn't subscribed, and if you're watching, or if you know somebody that hasn't seen this podcast or hasn't heard the YouTube channel, please share that. Please ask them to subscribe. My goal is to get it out to thousands of people. And the only way that happens is if you really enjoy it, if you appreciate what I'm writing. If it's thought provoking and you like it, even if you don't like it, share it anyway. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Tony, anything going on over there?
Not really, James, but I have a question for you since the people in our chat are pretty quiet, but they're here.
Okay.
Let's give the viewers a little insight to what's coming up for season 3 as far as the direction you're going to go in.
Tony, that's great, Tony. so we didn't share any of that before. I guess in the reading I just did for you, this has been a progression. I mean, when I started writing when I was 12 years old, it was a roses are red, violets are blue kind of writing, and my writing has morphed, if you will, had a metamorphosis over the years into a very philosophical, deep searching, my connection, my religion, my connection with God, what my purpose is in life and what I'm doing here. And so I think all of the writings that have come from the beginning, from when we started season 1, have kind of been a progression of that. There's, like I said earlier, there's a thread that runs through all of this that kind of connects all of what I'm saying, because it's all me. So obviously coming from me, there's a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions, a lot of connections to people like yourselves that are checking in and saying hello and reaching out. And I'm talking about a wide variety of age ranges. I know my niece and nephew, my brother-in-law, sister-in-law were down recently visiting for my wife's birthday. And here I have younger kids, if you will, and they have listened and they subscribe, and they don't make comments all the time, but when we talked in person, I got some interesting feedback from them as far as what they think and how it provokes thoughts. And so that's kind of what I'm hoping for. I've had people, again, my age ranges of people watching and listening are anywhere from 17 up to 80 years old. I've had my parents, and I've had friends that we've met here that we've become friends with that are in their 60s, 70s, 80s. I've had a lot of the students that I worked with when I was at Virginia Tech who are in their 20s and mid to late 20s, some younger. We were just in Arizona, like I said, and I got to see Simon Shu, and it was so good to see him because he was a freshman, sophomore when I left, and so I followed him on Instagram and Facebook and such. He has YouTube out as well. Amazing person, and Rubik's Cube. You got to watch him if you haven't had a chance to see him. But I got to see him out there in Arizona, and the connections I've made, it's just absolutely amazing. Everywhere I've been, Dorothy and I traveled a number of times, and we were actually in Australia a couple of years back. And Fiona, who was a swimmer from VT, lives there, and we got to hang out with her and have dinner. And Adriana and Robert invited us to their wedding, like I said, a few years back, and we got to go up there and reconnect with everybody, coaches and such, Ned Skinner, and just everybody that I've met in my entire life. Has made some comments and has listened to some of the stuff I've written. It's not just family and friends, or actually friends more than anything, but across so many genres, age ranges and such. And so I write for everybody. And so if you like it and you want to help support, please, again, youtube.com/unbridled emotions, or listen to it on the podcast, Apple or Google or such. And give me your support, because it's the only way it's going to get out there. It's the only way the channel is going to grow. When you write, at least for me, it comes from the heart, and in putting it out, you hope that it inspires people. You hope that in writing, it is thought-provoking, so that someone will, like if I had a comment a couple of weeks ago from a friend who said, wow, my father used to write things and have these sayings when I was growing up. And I listened to a few pieces that I had put out there in the YouTube channel. And that so reminded me and brought me back to a time when I was a child. And I haven't thought about some of those things in 50 years. And so to hear that and to know that I was able to elicit those kinds of reactions from someone based on something I wrote, um, eh, it's actually overwhelming. Tony said to me in the beginning, do I have, what is my goal? What is my purpose? What am I looking to get out of this? And I said, basically, I don't have any real, I'm not looking to put something out and monetarily speaking, where, yeah, would it be nice if you can make a few dollars on the channel? Sure. So that you can continue to buy the things you want to buy and be able to put out more and more content. But when you're writing, to know that people are reading stuff and that it's eliciting thoughts and bringing them back to their childhood, or helping them, deal with memories, or look for their, or emotions from way back when, or it helps them to find the power and the belief in themselves again to succeed and to try to reach their goals. All the things that I struggle with and have struggled with my entire life, I write about. And so I know it touches other people's minds and hearts and souls. So please, if you love it, if you like it, share it, because that's the only way I'm going to get it out there. Like I said, I have 134 subscribers on YouTube. Not that I'm watching, because every once a week or so I take a look and it doesn't move. And then you say, is the content not right? Is it not, are people not reacting because it's I don't know, it's just so emotional? I don't know. So more comments would be helpful in helping me write forward, going forward. And I don't know. That's pretty much about it, everyone. Tony says there's another Facebook question.
We do. We have two comments.
Two comments.
Before we go forward with that, if everyone, you realize, James, that everyone that's here, that's tuning in and that are already listening or watching, are supporting you.
Oh, I know. I understand that.
So
100%.
What we want to ask them to do is if they can help spread the word. Like maybe,
sure,
take a challenge and say, tell 4 or 5 people this week.
Right.
That if each of you, there's 8 of you in the chat, if each of you tell 4 or 5 people and can get 4 or 5 people to subscribe, that's 40 more supporters.
Sure.
Give or take.
Well, how many times you see I see on all the time with Facebook, and mostly Facebook or some Instagram stuff, where people say, oh, I'm going to do this little test and I'm going to put this thing out. And I read some of the stuff and I do comment and I follow, and I as someone's requesting, I'm go ahead and follow them and read it and do what they're asking me to do. But there's a lot of that out there, and it's something that's been passed along the Facebook, all the years. People just put it out there. Oh, it's a test. We're going to try to see who really reads stuff, reads through the whole thing before they get to the bottom and really realize what they want you to do. It's the same kind of thing. I'm putting out real content that I'd like people to do that same thing with. So Tony, good idea. I mean, if everybody listening, the 8 people that are listening, could challenge it and put it up somewhere, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and say, look, some people that I know would know other people that know me, put it out there and ask them to subscribe. And like Tony said, that would increase by 40 or 50 people. So another comment, Tony?
Oh yeah, we have 2. So a special person in the house that I think you're going to want to say hello to. Not that all our viewers and subscribers aren't special, but this gentleman is a member of the Unbridled Emotions team, and that should be all you need, James.
Hello, Michael Hunt. How are you, buddy? Michael's in California. Michael did our music for the entire 3 seasons so far. And I know they're 3 hours behind, and I know his schedule is so crazy. So Michael, thank you, buddy. Love you, man. I appreciate you checking in. Michael is, from a spiritual standpoint, Michael and I have been friends since probably back in early 2000. We've known each other, and I always turn to Michael. I read, I try to understand, what God's purpose is for me, but I always reach out to Michael and say, hey, Michael, listen, I'm looking at this, or I'm reading this, or I'm struggling with this. What are your thoughts? And he's always there. Amazing person. He and his family I love. He's a brother, and he did our music. He's going to do more music for the future. We're doing season 4 already, Michael. I wrote half the season already. So I need more music, buddy. I know he's getting some new software, computer stuff, so he can do some more work. So I know that's coming. I love you, brother. Thank you for checking in. I truly appreciate it. Hello to everybody.
So Adriana asks you, James, How has your writing strengthened your faith and connection with God? How did you know this was God's calling for you?
That's a really great question. Really a great question. And it's funny, Michael and I were talking about this the other day. I went to call Michael at 12 o'clock before I went to bed. And of course he picked up, which I didn't expect him to do. And I said, buddy, I'm putting this content out there. I mean, I write, Adriana, to answer your question, like really deeply. I sit down sometimes, and Tony can tell you this. It pours out of me. The words just come, and sometimes I write, and I just write and write and write, and then I may read it the next day or a week later, and I look and say, I know that they weren't. I didn't write that. That could not have come from me. And so Michael said to me, "Listen, you just keep putting in the work, buddy, and God is going to give you those inches. He's going to grow your business. He's going to, he's going to grow your soul. So Adriana, yeah, I mean, my spiritual journey has been something that I've worked with since I was a kid. I remember being 12 years old at the time I started writing and looking up one time and saying, okay, God, where am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to do? What is my purpose? I'm right here, I'm listening, and I want to hear what's happening. Where am I supposed to go? And I think the journey has always been God leading me. I mean, yeah, we do our own thing. We think we know better. I wrote a piece about this that said, God said, okay, sure, let's try it your way. They always say, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And so I have struggled to try and live through my life and be more like that, more where I'm a spiritual person, where I'm a person that helps other people. Tony and I were out one time, and I remember this, Tony, you probably do. And we were down in Wilmington in North Carolina. And there was some people, an older couple moving, trying to put a television into a car. And Tony and I were walking into the store, and I said, hey, buddy, I'll be right, hang on. And I ran over to help this gentleman put the TV in the car. And Tony came over. The next thing I know, I'm talking to the guy about massage, and he hurt his back and how he can do some stretching. And then the man was in his 80s. He said to me, hey, I'm in my 80s, but I like what you're saying, and I appreciate that. And Tony is talking to his wife. And as we walked away, Tony said to me, buddy, like, I love being with you and seeing you do this kind of stuff, because it makes me want to be more like that. And not that he's not. He's a generous person. Tony's a great guy. He's my best friend. And to have him do the things he's doing for me to help me put the message out there. But I think that when you are the person you are, the person that, and I say God wants me to be, and not that I always know that I'm doing the right thing or following the right path, but I think I am. I think people see that if you are yourself and don't change who you are, and no matter what happens around you, keep on being you, and let God lead you. At least for me, that's worked really well, and people see that in me. And I guess I've gained so much respect from people from being myself, and I've gained so many friends. And grew up without really having friends when I was a kid. And so to come through this process and be led, and continually have my belief and search for where God wants me to be, is one of the best things for me. So that's where the writings come from, Adriana. And Michael, you're listening. We talked about it the other day. I just am following God's path, and that's where all the words come from. And they're definitely inspired from not all from me. I mean, there are my experiences and stuff. I'm the tool, if you will, that's being used, the mouthpiece, if you will. But it's by God's inspiration. So I hope that answers everyone's questions. Adriana, Michael, everybody, it's out there. Linda, Dorothy. Who did I miss, Tony? as anybody else? But I really appreciate everybody, tuning in, checking in, having the conversation with me here, making the comments. It means a lot. So thank you, everyone.
So we're approaching the 30-minute mark, believe it or not.
Wow. Everybody believe I can really talk that long?
Say hello to Aaron Bell. Aaron says, the world needs more people like you, man. Miss you.
Aaron Bell. Aaron Bell was a assistant coach for VT when I was there. I absolutely love Aaron. Oh, buddy, you, Courtney, the family, I miss you guys so much. He's out at Notre Dame, and he moved on for his career, and he is one of the most awesome people. I miss coffee together, buddy. The large coffees, yes, and I know I'm holding these for you so we can do some work next time I see you. I love you guys. Thank you so much for checking in. Thank you for the comments. Pandemic's kind of shut everybody down and closed everybody in, and I think with everything going on in the world, we really need to connect with each other. We really need to stand up for each other when we see injustice, and that's what I write about. I mean, I read every day to what's going on in the world, and I try to insert myself into that so that I can try and appreciate. I mean, Michael and I shared a conversation a couple months back about, just all of the things that are going on in the world, and we need to be positive forces in that change. So thank you, everybody. I mean, it means a lot to have the friends I do. I really appreciate everybody. Tony says I have another question.
Well, we have a couple of comments, James.
Comments?
Aaron just responded by saying, we miss you too. And Michael says, God will provide the increase. Keep serving him. And we just got another viewer join, Margaret Telfo.
Hey, Margaret.
Hello.
Yes. Hey, Margaret. Hey, tell Johnny hi.
I had a thought, because the viewership constantly changes in the live stream. Some people join late. Like each time I remember last time, each time I tried to close the stream, and it's kind of happening again today, bring it to a close. We get new people popping in.
Sure.
So that said, the 7 or 8 that we have now could be a different 7 or 8 than we had 30 minutes ago. So why don't you close with the reading and leave it at that?
I'll do that.
People who did not get to hear it.
I'll definitely do that. Margaret, thank you for checking in. Tell Johnny hi. We got to get down there and see you guys in Florida. It's been too long. Miss you guys for sure. We're going to make our way down. I promise you. Let me do what Tony was saying, and let me go ahead and close the session with the reading that I had written for today's live Q&A. I called it Surrender, and it's goes like this. An ever-existent question. How do I learn to give up who I am, surrender myself, if you will, so that I can become who I'm meant to be? How do I surrender myself to the higher power and still be the person that I was created to be? Has the creation just been a fallacy of my mind, or an alternate reality of which I've placed myself so that I might hide from ever attempting what I wasn't sure that I could actually achieve? And so I resist it by pushing away what I found perplexing and difficult without fully putting all of my misunderstandings under the proverbial microscope. Was it that the reason that were guiding me to something at that time that I couldn't comprehend? And so I just lived to survive. But in doing so, I actually stopped living. See the fine line that's paper thin and seemingly easy to break through, and yet continually be held by that very wall that suspended me between two realms? The realm of just getting by without purpose, by making my purpose to just get by. Can someone actually be so scared of failure that they could take on an alternative to walk amongst the world in a frozen time, where those fears that never seemed to let me move forward, and I did not want to be awakened to have to face the monsters that were inside? My answer to this is simply yes. One can bend and bind themselves up so tightly not to believe that they are worthy, and ultimately be willing to vanish and never be heard from or seen again. It was like the most elaborate witness protection plan that had ever been written, and I was the main character. Then years of repetitive words from a never-ending play that's played to a packed house for a lifetime. Then just like that, the show, my life, if you will, at that very moment, shuts down. And I'm awakened to the reality of exactly what and where my life has actually been. I realize that I've been stuck where I've been for centuries. And so I finally take a deep breath for the first time. And as I fill my lungs and the dust settles, all is clear, and I have a fresh perspective for the first time ever. The curtain raises, and my life is there for all of you to see on the stage. I'll embrace it. If you will, I'll let go of everything in the past. I will hitch my wagon and my horses, if you will, to that life and ride it for all she's worth. That's pretty much it. That's what I started out with. That's how I'm ending. I can't thank everyone enough for checking in, for taking their time out of their busy schedules, for listening to me, for making the comments, for supporting me. I love every single person out there that reached out. And even the people that didn't have the time to do so, I know they're out there listening. I thank you. Again, it's youtube.com/unbridled emotions. Share it with your family and friends. Put it out there. You all have a big following, I'm sure, and all the relationships that you're involved in and all the people that you know. I want to get the messages out, my messages, my writings out to everybody. So please share it. And thank you again for checking in. Have a great day. God bless and stay safe, everyone.